Welcome to Project HQ, where your success in project management begins. Are you ready to master project management? Our professional Scrum Master training equips you with agile expertise and hands-on Jira skills. Dive into real-world scenarios with us and step into the industry with confidence. Meet Toyin Papula, our expert agile coach and PMP pro. Experience hands-on training with essential tools and best practices. Now hear what our students have to say about their journey at Project HQ.
He always uses day-to-day activities and things that we do on a day-to-day basis to incorporate that into Prince 2.
He's got in-depth knowledge of project management methodologies and Scrum, and he's got excellent communication, presentation skills. The classes are very engaging and interactive.
Let's take a listen to our podcast, breaking down the key takeaways from a Scrum class.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So today we're going to tackle the world of project management, specifically two totally different ways of getting things done, waterfall and agile.
Yeah, these are definitely two biggies in the project management world.
We've got some really cool material to work with today, right?
Right.
An excerpt from a real agile training session. Should give us some solid insights into how these methodologies work.
Definitely. I think it'll be super interesting to see how they break down those key differences.
For sure. So by the end of this, hopefully you'll be able to figure out which approach, might work best for your own projects.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so waterfall first. Imagine like a waterfall, right? The water flows in one direction, step by step.
It makes sense.
That's waterfall in a nutshell. A very structured, sequential approach to projects. You have a clear plan from the get-go, and each phase, kind of leads neatly into the next one.
I've always seen it as a bit like building a house, you wouldn't start on the roof before you've laid the foundation.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. The training material uses that one too. So yeah, in waterfall, you complete each stage before moving on. No jumping around.
Right. Which can be great for certain projects, especially those where the requirements are pretty much set in stone from the start.
Oh yeah, for sure. You mentioned building a house. What other kind of projects do you think would really benefit from that waterfall structure?
Well, I'm thinking, big engineering projects maybe, like constructing a bridge or even something like, launching a satellite.
Totally. Like those massive projects where having a detailed plan from day one is just crucial, right?
Absolutely. You don't want to be figuring things out as you go along when you're dealing with something that complex.
No kidding. The risks are just way too high. And as we talked about, waterfall is all about minimizing risk, isn't it?
Exactly. Predictability is key in waterfall. You have that clear roadmap. Everyone knows what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen.
And that documentation, that's super important in waterfall too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every step is meticulously documented, which is fantastic for keeping everyone on the same page.
Makes total sense. But let's play devil's advocate here for a sec.
Okay.
What if something changes? Let's stick with the house analogy. You've got the blueprints all laid out, you've poured the foundation, and then bam, the client calls and says, actually, I want a sunroom.
Yeah, that's where waterfall can start to fall apart a little bit.
Right, because changing course once you're already in motion can be a huge pain.
A huge pain. It can throw the whole timeline off, mess with the budget, and it just generally becomes a big headache.
And that's kind of where Agile comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, Agile's much more flexible.
Yeah, if waterfall's like, I don't know, like following a strict recipe, Agile's more like freestyling in the kitchen, right? You adapt as you go, try new things, and make adjustments based on what you learn along the way.
Love it.
So where waterfall kind of shies away from change, Agile embraces it.
It's built for change, really. It's all about adapting to evolving needs and making sure what you're building is actually what the client wants.
And speaking of what the client wants, Agile is big on collaboration, right?
Huge. The client's super involved throughout the whole process, not just at the beginning and the end.
So how does that work in practice? Like how do you actually manage an Agile project?
So remember those sprints we talked about?
Yeah.
They're at the heart of the Agile process. So you break the project down into these short bursts of work, typically 2 weeks long. And during each sprint, the team focuses on delivering a small but functional part of the project.
Okay, so going back to our house analogy, it's like you're building that house one room at a time.
Exactly. You might do the foundation in one sprint, then the framing in the next, then the electrical, and so on. Each time you're creating a tangible piece of the final product.
Got it. And the beauty of that is You can show the client what you've done after each sprint and get their feedback right.
Absolutely. Which brings us back to that whole adaptability thing. Let's say the client sees the framing and suddenly realizes, hey, I want that sunroom.
It wouldn't be a problem in Agile.
Right.
Right. You could just adjust the plan for the next sprint.
Exactly. No need to tear down walls or go back to the drawing board. You just incorporate the change into the next iteration.
Much smoother. And you avoid those nasty surprises at the end when, you deliver something that doesn't quite hit the mark.
Definitely. Continuous feedback keeps everyone aligned and makes sure you're building the right thing.
So Agile sounds pretty awesome.
Oh.
But I'm guessing there are some challenges too, right?
Oh, for sure. It's not a magic bullet.
What are some of the potential pitfalls to look out for?
Well, for one thing, communication is absolutely vital in Agile. You're constantly collaborating, adapting, and refining things, so everyone on the team needs to be in sync.
Yeah, I could see how that could be tricky if you don't have, really good communication channels in place.
It's essential. And then there's the issue of scope creep.
Scope creep, right. The project just keeps growing and growing as new ideas and requests come in.
Exactly. And without careful management, an Agile project can easily balloon way beyond its original scope, which can throw off timelines and budgets.
So it sounds like with Agile, you need to be really vigilant about setting boundaries and sticking to the plan, even though you're being flexible.
Definitely. It's a delicate balance.
Okay, so we've got Waterfall, which is all about planning and structure. And then we've got Agile, which is all about flexibility and adapting to change. Now, for the million-dollar question, how do you know which one is right for your project?
Well, I think the training material does a great job of laying out some key considerations.
Yeah.
The first one is, how clear are your project requirements up front?
Right. So if you know exactly what you need to build from day one, like with, let's say, that bridge we talked about, then maybe Waterfall makes more sense.
Exactly. But if you're working on something where the requirements may change along the way, like maybe developing a new software application, Agile could be a better fit.
Okay, so the level of uncertainty plays a big role. Waterfall wants to eliminate uncertainty, whereas Agile accepts it, right?
Yeah, you could say that. Another key factor is how much client involvement you need. If you need constant feedback and collaboration, Agile's got that built in with those sprint reviews.
Makes sense. So you've given us a lot to think about. It's clear that both Waterfall and Agile have their own strengths and weaknesses.
They definitely do. It really comes down to understanding your project, your team, and what you're trying to achieve.
Totally. And it's interesting. You don't necessarily have to choose one or the other, right?
Oh, you mean like a hybrid approach?
Exactly. Maybe you could combine elements of both methodologies to create something that works perfectly for your specific situation.
Yeah, for sure. Like you could have a more structured waterfall style plan for certain parts of the project, but then use Agile sprints for other parts where you need more flexibility.
That's a really cool idea. So as you're planning your next project, think about this. Could a hybrid approach be the key to unlocking success for you? We'll leave you with that thought.
See you next time.
Until then.
For more information, contact us at info@projecthq.live or call +474 158 79219. Visit our website, www.projecthq.live. Join Project HQ today, and let's begin your path to project management excellence.